Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Today is Thursday, August 17th. It is the third day of back to school for UISD. Praying that all the teachers are surviving. The little siblings who are left at home are losing their banana peels, at least the one that I possess. She's very much missing her big brother. Although she doesn't say those words out loud, she very much does. And she's not used to, even though it's been a few months, right, since she was home by herself. So now she's kind of missing it, and so she'll come up to me while I'm working, and she'll bring me one of her play phones, and then she'll go and she'll get her other phone that's sitting over here on her desk, and she'll try and call me so that I get off of my work calls. And try to do all sorts of other things. So I may have to take some step backs in some of my roles and things to give her a little bit of extra time, because I say it all the time that that's why I fight. But see if that's true or not, I guess. I was trying to avoid this on the show, but you guys know me well enough to know that I don't mind being raw with y'all. I don't mind letting you know what's really going on. And I'm honest. If you ask me something directly, I tell you what I think, what I feel. If you ask me a yes or no, I'll give you a yes or no. If you ask me a direct question, I answer it. And when you pour into politics, you have to kind of put it on your sleeve some and be willing to take it off and walk away. When you are invested in something or someone or a cause, you push for it, you fight for it, and you believe in it, right? It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's fun politics. It doesn't matter if it's in school. It doesn't matter if it's in business. It doesn't matter what the avenue is. But when you consider yourself, or not even if you consider yourself worthy of being trusted with information as a resource, just to turn around and get screwed or hurt or trampled on, it sucks. It sucks. Now, it's not new in politics. It happens all the time, right? They even say, well, that's just part of the process. And we all just are supposed to get over it and make it all better. And let me tell you what, it's only part of the process because people don't stand up and be real about it. That's why it's part of the process. People like to think that politics or even business, it doesn't even have to just be politics. It's a dog eat dog world and only the strongest survive. No, not only the strongest survive. Only the ones who are willing to truly make it about politics and not people survive. Only the ones who really only have a personal agenda survive. Only the people who truly don't care about the problem or the issues or the people involved, but they see an opportunity, they survive. Now, that's not necessarily true in all cases. Some people are literally put at the right places at the right times for the right reasons. Sometimes their message gets heard loud and long, and sometimes they just get crapped on. Sometimes they get silenced because they are speaking out against the system. Earlier this week and some of last week, we talked about our friend Anthony Aguero, conservative Anthony, and we talked about how people were using his information. They were using his actual videos that had his watermarker on it. You know how like we have our little TFL guy up here all the time on all the things that we do now. And they were cropping it out, and they were using his information. They were renaming him. Instead of calling him Anthony, they were calling him Antonio. Nobody calls him Antonio. I mean, I call him Antonio when I'm yelling at him, but not even then. It's usually Anthony or Brat. And they're trying to pull up old information that he's not ever hidden. It's always been public. In fact, apparently these jackasses don't realize he ran for Congress. And so all of this stuff is not brand new information, but they just like to try and kick people when they're doing the right thing for the right reason. And then they start exposing them for doing the wrong things for the profitable reason. People like Ann Vandersteel and Michael Yon, people I've never truly met, but I see the character. I've watched some of their stuff and I see how fake and transparently fake they are. Yet for some godforsaken reason, they have convinced people to give them money while crapping on other people. And I'm bringing up what's happening to Anthony. I've known Anthony since 2019. We've had our ups and downs. We've had our I'm not talking to you moments. But at the end of the day, I have loved that man like a brother since the day that I met him. And the same for him. He calls me his sister. And to see people profit off of his work while they kick him, while they tell people that he's a freeloader, even though he was eating sardines while they were eating steaks, literally. That's vile and it's disgusting. And it's so easy to point it out when it's happening to somebody else, but we don't want to realize it or recognize it or say it out loud if it happens to us. And even more painful is when you see somebody struggling with something and you're trying to help and you're trying to help and you're trying to help and you're pouring your soul into something just for it to go to the wayside like it didn't matter. Or for them to be, oh yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, great work. Good job. And then act like it never happened. Or twist somebody's intention. To know that somebody only makes $1,000 a month or less or more, doesn't matter. But if they've poured their resources and their time and their treasure into you, to treat them like it doesn't matter and that it's a dime a dozen, man, that's dirty business. When I got involved in politics, my concept was to change the way that things were being done, because the way that things were being done is why people were being turned off to it. I've tried to make, when I ran my campaigns, it was restoring the heart. We want to be different. We want to go back to what the origination was. We want to make sure that we're doing the right things for the right reasons, for the right people. And I've had no problem walking away when I felt like we weren't being valued. And I was pretty quick to cut people off when I felt like I was being strung along. I've never been somebody to live my life by contracts because I believe in people. And I know what some of you are thinking, well, Sandra, that's silly talk. Like, why wouldn't you sign contracts with people? I mean, after all, at the end of the day, it's business. But if you truly believe in the principle of politics, if you truly believe in the principle of our country and of our state and of our people, it's not just business. It's who we are. If we claim that we bleed red, white, and blue, and then say, but I need a contractor, screw you. I just made that up. That was great. Sorry. Then we're not putting people before politics. We're putting special interests. We're putting our own needs. We're putting a paycheck before the causes that we truly believe in. There are so many people that volunteer in politics. And what people don't realize is that for the people that volunteer, they do it because they believe in somebody. And even for the people that have agreed to take a paycheck at some point, but want to make sure that the needs are met first, those people are gold. Those people are the true salt of the earth. Those are the grassroots that others like to dismiss. that some will even say, this was a new term I heard yesterday, there's no such thing as the grassroots, they're just moderate conservatives. That tells me they don't know what the grassroots are. That tells me that they don't realize that the grassroots are people who volunteer their time, their money, their effort, their heart, because they believe. They believe that this country is worth fighting for, or their state, or whatever. And they believe that there might still be good people who are willing to take that stand, to do the right thing for the right reason, to put themselves aside, to be a true servant of people. And I don't know if it's done out of malice intent. I don't know if it's done out of greed. I don't know if it's out of selfishness. But there has to come a point when somebody comes along and says, you're not doing this for the right reasons. Because a servant who wants to serve does not treat people like that. Now, I'm sure that there are moments in my life, I know that there have been moments in my life where I've had to have that reckoning. And there's a bit of an abusive relationship involved in it, if you will. Because the people around that person, including myself, because I know I'm not a saint. I've told you guys that before. I know that I've hurt people. And in my hurting people, I weep when I do it. When I'm called to the attention. Because I don't want to hurt people. But there comes a time where you still have to serve the same people. And you have to draw a line in the sand. It's called a boundary. It's called a boundary. We talk about boundaries, and boundaries are great for everything else and everyone else. I was starting to collect myself back for the show this morning. And I had some really great articles, and hopefully we'll be able to plow into some of those. And I have this, a friend of mine gave this to me for Christmas last year. And I will be a liar if I tell you that I read it every day. But it has either been in my book bag or sitting here on my desk. And I try to, if I know I'm going to be certain places for more than 5 minutes, I try to put like a little devotional book somewhere so that I can not have the excuse of not having one with me. I always make sure it's in my face wherever it's at, because I am not a good, I hate reading. Oh my gosh, do I hate reading? And God knows that I hate reading. So that's why he gave us 5-minute devotionals or 1-minute devotionals, because he's like, look, I speak to you. I know my daughter. I know how to speak to her. A few weeks ago, I was writing something for someone, and I made the statement, as iron sharpens iron. And it's an important statement, and it's something that we in the Christian faith use to remind others that we have to interact with one another, that we have to take counsel from other people, and you know, we can't just be in our own head. And we have to listen to the Spirit. We need to talk to other believers so that we can make sure that we're deciphering what the Spirit is telling us properly. And this morning, literally, I'm sitting down here and I'm trying to find something for Charlotte. And yes, Charlotte, I just found it literally right this second. So here's that. And I look over in this book. It's Strength for Every Day by Joyce Meyer. And I'm not going to disagree with anybody who's fixing to put something. We can't do a commercial break this early, Simon. I know that, you know, some people feel about Joyce Meyer is about like how they do with Joel Osteen. And I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, because I've never been a huge Joyce Meyer fan. But, you know, just because I'm not a huge fan doesn't mean that sometimes they don't, you know, hit the ball out of the park. So this morning I opened this up, And I keep it open so that it's easy access as I'm sitting down. And I don't have an excuse, even though I usually make myself an excuse. And it says, choose friends, August 17th, choose friends who make you better. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. The people with whom we spend our time are very important because we often pick up some of their habits and their character traits. If we spend a lot of time with people who compromise morally, we may begin to think compromise is acceptable for us too. We cannot avoid all immoral people, otherwise we would have to get out of the world entirely, and we don't want our lives to be a witness for Christ to them. I often say that spending time with people who don't know Christ is good as long as we affect them without allowing them to infect us. We spend different amount of time with different people, but the ones we spend much time with should lift us up and make us better. If your friends are stingy and greedy, they will not help you become generous. If your friends gossip about others, you may find yourself gossiping or spreading rumors too. However, if your friends are kind, patient, loving, and always ready to help others, you will find yourself wanting to grow in these godly qualities. Choose your friends wisely, and if you're spending too much time with the wrong kind of people, make a change for the better. Then it says, Father, I want friends who make me a better person. I pray for divine connections. I ask you to guide me to people who are godly rather than worldly and to give me favor with them. In Jesus' name, amen. And in a conversation I was having with a friend before I got on the air, I made a very similar reference. I said, when I first decided to get into politics, my dad used to grow businesses for other companies. He'd come in, he'd grow it, and it'd be time to pass it on. My dad was really good at what he did. The first thing he said is, Sandra, if you're going to get involved in politics, it's just like with business. You have to be like a duck. Just let the water roll off your back, because ducks swim in water. And if they let all the water sink into them, they drown. And I said, you know what, Dad, you're right. And he goes, and in the same way, Jesus said that when we are going through a city, if what we're being told, or if we're not being listened to, then just dust your feet off, dust the dirt off of your feet from that town, and keep on going. And I've taken those words very much to heart. I've had no problem. I know I have a really good sense of discernment when it comes to people. And I have no problem walking away. I have no problem realizing that I might be a problem in a situation and saying, you know what, if it's not me, then I'm okay with it. Like, there's really no hard feelings. But don't be dirty about it. Don't be dirty about it. Don't be sleight of hand about it. Don't try and ghost me out of it. Be honest and be like, hey, you know what? I can see this value here, but I don't see this value here. And here we are. That's fine. And certainly don't ask for me to help and then not respond to my help. These are all things that I know my value. And I'm a martyr for a hopeless cause, because if not, we'd be making millions of dollars by now, I'm certain. But because I believe in people, and I believe in doing the right thing for those that don't have the voice to be able to express themselves for things. That was where my fire was. It is. That is my fire. My whole entire 4.5 years, just over 4.5 years in politics, has been to make sure that I can be a voice for those who could not stand up for themselves. And if I can't say it, I need to get it into the hands of somebody that can say it. If I'm not effective, allow me to put it to somebody who is effective. Example, when Cassie won and I didn't in the runoff, even though we all saw what actually happened, I said, I'm not going to get in her way. She won. She was effective. I even offered, let me rephrase that. She even called me and said, Sandra, I'd like to talk to you about possibly being on my team in a paid position. And I didn't want to have the conversation. I didn't want to have the conversation at all. You guys know I will tell you what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And Walter encouraged me to go and talk with her anyway. And I did. And we had a really great conversation. She's really a very nice person. I think she's funny. I think she's energetic. I think she's a great person. But I think she was listening to the wrong people for what she believed were the right reasons. I do. I firmly believe that. And we tease, I think I've seen her more since November than I did the entire campaign, hers and mine. I truly believe that she was doing what she believed was the right things for the right reasons, and she had to listen to some people to do. And I still think that she does think that she's doing the right thing for the right reasons. But I told her when we talked for over 3 hours in person. I told her, I said, I'm not going to be a yes man, and I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm not a go with the flow. I'm a let's stop and think about why the flow is there and see why the flow is pushing so hard, especially if it doesn't feel right. I'm going to be the person to tell you, say this, don't say that. Make sure you engage this person and not that person, because I know my district and I know the people here. And I don't know if it was too honest or if it was just political policy to reach out to the people that you were running against in the same party. I don't know the answer, and it doesn't matter. Maybe her people advised her not to bring me on. I don't know. I do know that I've seen her a couple of times since then, and we've had really nice conversations. It's been very pleasant. I do still think that she's supporting the wrong people for the right reasons, though. I do think that Victor Avila is the absolute worst person for District 23. If he's so passionate about running for Congress, he should be running in his own district. I hate carpetbaggers. And he can pull the Ed Cabrera and say, well, I have property in the district. But you don't live in the district. You didn't value the district until you decided that you found an opportunity for it. Tony Gonzalez is a freaking clown. He does not care about the people, because if he did, he would do like Henry Cuellar does and at least teach college in his district. Instead, he teaches at the University of Maryland. I've heard rumors about other people deciding if they want to jump in or not. There's this new guy who is Mr. Friends with Dan Crenshaw, I guess. So take that for what you will. He looks cool with his guns and he sounds really nice and polished. And still has fun videos, so that's exciting. He's got lots of money, so he doesn't need yours. Good for him. But I don't think that he knows the district. I don't think that he knows the people. When somebody's running for office, don't listen to their nice stories. Don't listen to just their policies. You need to know who their heart is. Because I can promise you, in the last 4.5 years that I've been involved in politics, technically 5 years ago this month is when I met Terry Harper. For the last 5 years, I have met more great people. They're really charismatic, who have treated people like dog crap. People talk about car sales industry, and they talk about marketers, and they talk about people in money industries and things like that about how cutthroat they are. Then you have people who want to come into politics because they want to be an outsider. It's going to make a difference. But they don't listen to the people who are honest with them. And that cuts like a knife. That causes more pain. I'm not a crier. I think you guys know me well enough to know I will laugh until I cry. But I'm not a crier. I think in the 5 years, 4.5 that I've been doing Facebook Lives, I've honestly cried on a Facebook Live maybe 4 times that I can think of. Once was when I was sick and tired of being called a racist. And being told that I have no idea the struggles that Black and brown people go through because I've got blonde hair and fair skin. And I went through several of my personal discriminated upon stories of Manny, that's happened to my children, that's happened to me down here. I remember crying on the air when we lost the re-election, and I was thanking the people who stood beside me. I remember tearing up a few times when I've heard stories about things that have happened to people. But this is the only time I've ever cried on Texas Fully Loaded. Because people need to understand that people pour themselves into things for a reason. I have put my children aside for 4 years so that I could fight for yours. I have been in more fights that I don't regret. I have given up more of myself than you could ever have given up. I have stood up for people that could not speak because I believe in people. And you can say whatever you want to about me as a person and about the lifestyle choices that I make. But there's a lot of things that you can't say because you don't know a gosh darn thing about. Because I'm fireproofed. Because if I've said something, it's because I've already walked through it. And I know how deceitful these people can be. And because I believe in you, I don't want you to go down that road. I don't want you to have to recreate a wheel that I've already recreated. I've already seen how that wheel was made, and it's not worth going down. I stand firm in everything that I have done publicly and everything else for the last 5 years. Because I do believe that God put a mission before me. Does he redirect it? Absolutely. Because he's got a stubborn daughter. But my time is valuable. My resources are valuable. My heart is irreplaceable. And so is my knowledge. I may not be a college grad. I may not have all the awesome Excel worksheet things, but I'm an effective communicator. Never once has somebody been able to come back and be like, well, you didn't tell me that, and me not be able to go, really? Like, bet? I run out of phone storage, honey child, because I don't ever let it be said that Sandra didn't say. I'm not one of those crazy stalker people who goes surfing through the internet trying to find out every place somebody's been or who their grandma's pet cat Fred's litter was for. I'm not that person because it's irrelevant. But I'm sick and tired of seeing people who are doing the right things for the right reasons, who are not gloried in it, getting crapped on. When is enough going to be enough, America? When are we going to keep waiting for stop waiting for some freaking savior from Washington, D.C. or New York or Florida or fill in the blank? When are we going to just start standing up and doing the right flipping thing? Let me tell you a story. You know what? Y'all know who our sponsors are. Go to TexasFullyLoaded.com if you need to find out. This is a story you guys need to hear. Hold on. This was just sent to me last night. Kyle Rittenhouse, he did the right thing for the right reasons. He did. He was a good kid. He was. He's now launching a nonprofit with far-right Texans as he's ramping up political engagement in the state of Texas. This is from the Texas Tribune. But last night, I was speaking to Ashley, and they had the story already that the Texas Tribune published it first. The activist known for shooting Black Lives Matter protester in 2020 has created the Rittenhouse Foundation, which promises to fight for gun rights and includes leaders who have close ties to ultra-conservative megadonors from West Texas. Kyle Rittenhouse, the right-wing activist who famously acquitted of killing 2 Black Lives Matter protesters in 2020, is stepping up his involvement in Texas politics. It sounds great already, doesn't it? Already this year, he's rallied with a Texas secessionists movement leader, endorsed ultra-conservative midterm candidates, and rallied against Texas gun control legislation and the impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton. Now Rittenhouse is creating a nonprofit in the state with help from well-connected far-right political actors. In a July 23rd filing with the Texas Secretary of State's office, he described the Rittenhouse Foundation as a nonprofit that protects human and civil rights secured by law, including an individual inalienable rights to bear arms, and ensures Second Amendment is preserved through education and legal assistance. The foundation's directors are Rittenhouse, Texas Gun Rights President Chris McNutt, and Shelby Grisinger, treasurer for Defend Texas Liberty PAC, a key financer of far-right candidates in the state. The foundation registered agent is the law firm office of Tony McDonald, who has for 4 years represented Empowered Texans and other deep red organizations. Defend Texas Liberty and Empowered Texans have received tens of millions of dollars from a trio of West Texas oil tycoons, Tim Dunn, brothers Ferris and Dan Wilkes, who have for decades funded campaigns, nonprofits, and movements to promote their ultra-conservative religious and political views. McDonald declined an interview request Tuesday. Other foundation officials could not be reached for comment. On Wednesday, after the Texas Tribune published this story, Defend Texas Liberty leader Jonathan Strickland posted a photo on X, of course Twitter, with Rittenhouse. "Let me end speculations," Strickland wrote. "The most conservative boss out there," responded Rittenhouse, who is in the photo wearing a hat and shirt for Pale Horse Strategies, a political consulting firm owned by Strickland that works with Dunn-backed candidates. Rittenhouse moved to Texas last year after being acquitted of homicide charges in the fatal shooting of 2 people at the 2020 protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's since steadily ramped up his political involvement in Texas, often rallying against the media, cancel culture, and gun control groups. In January, Rittenhouse appeared in Conroe at the rally against censorship with Daniel Miller, the only ones that aired the whole thing live was Texas Fully Loaded, and you can still find that on our website. President with the Texas Nationalist Movement, which advocates for Texas to secede from the United States. The event drew national media attention after Conroe Brewery said that it was inundated with threats and harassment for pulling out of the event's host venue. In May, Rittenhouse joined Texas gun rights in opposing a House bill that would have raised the minimum age to purchase semi-automatic rifles from 18 to 21. He's been active on social media condemning the Texas House impeachment of Paxton, endorsing Second Amendment ultra-conservative candidates who also back the groups affiliated with Dunn and Wilkes' brother. Rittenhouse has endorsed Andy Hooper, a primary challenger to State Representative Lynn Stuckey, Republican out of Denton. Hooper, who came close to unseating Stuckey in a runoff in 2022, had the support of Defend Texas Liberty in that primary and is expected to have it again. Rittenhouse has more recently backed Brandon Herrera, a gun rights activist and YouTube star known as the AK Guy, who is running against U.S. Representative Tony Gonzalez out of San Antonio. Gonzalez represents district where the 2020 Uvalde shooting took place, and the only Texas Republican in the House to vote for a bipartisan gun law afterward. So I take it back. Herrera is being backed by Pale Horse, so let that sink in. Last year, Rittenhouse announced plans to attend Texas A&M University, only to walk back the claim after the university said he had not been accepted. Rittenhouse, an Illinois native, later said he planned to attend Blinn College, a two-year school in Brenham. It's unclear if Rittenhouse is attending the school, which he is not enrolled in classes after he announced his intention on going there. Rittenhouse's foray into Texas politics comes as Republicans continue efforts to reach out to younger Americans who are increasingly supportive of liberal policies. On Monday, the Tribune reported on the new company, Influenceable, with ties to Dunn, that had been quietly recruiting Gen Z social media influencers to undisclosed political promotions. Pale Horse, Empowered Texans, there's several others in here. They have all been about raising millions of dollars, which you need dollars to run a campaign. I'm not going to tell you don't. Probably why I'm not a congresswoman, because I can't raise money. It's never been my strong suit. Told you guys that since day one. Pale Horse has been one of the organizations that's been crapping all over independent journalism. In the conversation, and Ashley, don't murder me. I was told that Rittenhouse was point blank asked how much money he was given to defend Ken Paxton. He wouldn't answer the question. He walked away. Now, I have not been given a dime to defend Ken Paxton. In fact, I made sure that we ran Louis Gohmert against Ken Paxton because we saw this coming. Yet I've been on this show on more than one occasion and defended his right to due process. I defended his right to make sure that things were done properly. I defended the fact that it was not actually anything that the House did that was in proper order. We had Gary Haven on a couple weeks ago talking about how 10 days after Ken Paxton started looking into Pfizer, he was indicted. 5 days after he told Representative Murr that they needed to be looked into, or that Phelan needed to be looked into and reprimanded for freaking being drunk off of his mother-loving rocker during House proceedings, where he was so drunk that he had to hold on to the freaking desk to keep from falling over. The fact that I have to keep coming on this show or on Sandra for Texas when I was running for office and defend people because of stupid games that their opponents are playing. I made a joke yesterday to one of my county chairwomen here in 28. It wasn't really a joke. That was the worst part. I said, I spend more time defending my opponents because of stupid political games than I ever had any other time to do anything else. Stupid's not a bad word, but you may not call your brother stupid. Because if we're going to go after a political opponent, let's go after them for the right reason, not made up reasons. Not, oh, well, let's make it look like this was what was going on. That's not how we win politics. That's how they win politics. But if we're claiming to be different, we can't keep doing the same God-forsaken things that they're doing. You know what the old can-do, give-up attitude is? What? Thank you, Charlotte. Well, if you can't beat them at their game, join them. And that's how all of these stupid little new committees get started. This is how all these little freaking groups get started. Well, I don't like that person. So you know what? Screw them. I'm going to do the same thing that they're doing, and I'm going to make more money at it. Did you notice the flurry of brand new organizations that popped up in 2022? Like we had more brand new grassroots organizations that popped up in 2022 than we ever did any other time. Ever. Probably in the history of ever. But because we keep waiting for the next best thing and we keep expecting somebody else to come along with a new formula. Nobody's come along with a new formula, folks. Every single one of these groups is just copy and pasted. We're going to be involved in people and we're going to fight for the little guy and yada, 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 rah, rah, ree, kick him in the knee. Until stuff gets exposed that they were actually terrible human beings who actually say the things to people like, I hope your baby dies so they don't have to have you as a parent.
Baby die?
No, baby. No, sweetheart. I mean, when is enough going to be enough, folks? We talk about how primaries are the most important part of this whole process, that nobody gives a damn about those either. That's exactly what we're fighting right now. Nobody gives a damn about any of it. We all just want to have our name on something so that we look good. So we can say, we did something. I mean, it didn't accomplish anything, but gosh darn it, we did it. We gave it the old college try, didn't we? I'm sorry, I said something. If you still had your headphones on in the other room, you wouldn't hear them. But this is the problem. If we really don't want more of the same, why do we keep financially supporting it? Why do we keep giving them the stage? Those are the real questions that need to be asked. If we're really sick and tired of being sick and tired, why do we just keep going to the same freaking abusers and people? Like, I have more questions than I do answers. And that's true transparency. One of the most amazing things that I was ever told when I first started running for office is said, don't fish for an answer if you don't really have one. Be willing to say, I don't know. Let me get back to you on that. And then get back to them on it. Especially if you're being asked by the press, if you're being asked what, and I did. I've always been faithful in that. You know what? I don't freaking know, but I'll find out. I'll call somebody who does know. And I do. And I get back with people as soon as I get an answer. I'm not always the best at calling everybody back every 15 minutes. I know I'm not. Because I'm so busy putting out other fires. Or trying to help. And where I think I'm being effective. So no, I don't get back on play dates like I used to. I don't plan all the family functions like I used to. I haven't made birthday cakes like I used to. There's not cookies and baked goods around my house every week like there used to be. Because I'm so busy trying to make sure that I'm helping the right people do the right things for the right reasons, because I believe in America. I believe in Texas. And if I wasn't supposed to be the voice of District 28, then maybe it was to make sure that somebody else could be that voice for District 28. Or maybe it's to make sure that somebody else's voice gets to be the right voice in Washington, D.C. And maybe I might have some influence with it to make sure that the little people are not forgotten. But remember, whether you're watching this and you're one of the people that support us, or you're watching this just because you hate us, we're not quitting. We're not stepping away because you think you're winning. Because I haven't quit a damn thing in my life. I fight like hell for it until I can't fight anymore, because I physically have nothing left to give. Because I can't keep being hurt by the same thing that I've been fighting for. And I'll even keep that damn thing on life support just because it might help somebody else, even if I'm still bleeding. And until people start giving like that, they're not there. I've said it for 5 years, and I'll say it till I die. I am not perfect. And neither are the people that are around me, but by God, we've got the biggest hearts, and you will never have anybody fight for you the way that we do. You will never find people who pour into you every second of the day. We're fighting even when you're not in the room, and defending even when you're not in the room. And you know, the true test of that is when you get word back, even from people who don't like you, that say, you know, there are a lot of things, but they weren't wrong. We need to take a commercial break. Before we take that commercial break, think long and hard about what organizations that you surround yourself with, what people you surround yourself with. Because if you've been watching this show for any amount of time and seen all the silly jokes that we make about the jellyfish of fortune or future, making our little silly ass predictions like we do, the number of times that Walter or me or John or Ashley or Patty or Rachel have had people come to us and say, wow, you guys were actually really right on that, weren't you? Walt says this all the time. I wish people would quit telling me that I was right in hindsight and just freaking listen when I said it the first time. You can only lead the horse to water. You can't make it drink. People like Walter are important because they know the history, they know the personalities, and they know them inside and out. People like me are important because we're able to package it in a way that can make everybody understand it. Talking like crayon drawing on the wall, make people understand it. One of the highest compliments I think that we've ever received is that you're effective in making sure that people understand complex situations and things, situations, bills, whatever's happening on the big scale. And in fact, that was one of the reasons that Ken asked us to do this show, was because we have a way to make people be able to relate to what's going on in the world around them. Not just using fancy words. In fact, literally try to dumb it down as much as I can. Make it as clear as possible. Because people will not comprehend that they need to fight for something if they can't understand what they're fighting for. People will follow something that is shiny and glittering because, that has a lot of money and traction behind it. We should follow that. Well, you know what? People followed all of that BS for COVID to get all those damn shots. Now we've had more athletes in the last 3 years die from undetermined heart diseases than in the history of sports. We've had more reporters pass out during interviews and being on the air than the history of live television. So just because it goes on long enough, just because they have enough money to say it's true, or just because they have enough people who get paid enough money to dig up enough dirt, doesn't make it a fair fight. We have got to wake up, America. This is bigger than the freaking primaries. You have got to draw a line in the sand and decide what you're actually going to do with your life. And I know on me, I'm probably speaking right to myself. I'm looking myself right in the mirror. Because it does affect the people around you. And it's okay to be scared. And it's okay to be unsure. But it is not okay to say that people don't have value. It is not okay to treat people like shit. I'm living my own personal journey right now. And in that, I'm trying to create new boundaries. And even in those boundaries, I have been very firm in saying, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z because I hate X, Y, and Z. Or because there's no value to X, Y, and Z. Or because fill in the blank X, Y, and Z. This is the X, Y, and Z's strength. This is X, Y, and Z's weaknesses. And we have to protect their weaknesses. And we have to help their growth. And whether it's personal or professional, I've never once faltered from that. Yesterday, my mom told me about a meeting that she had with a friend. And in the story, I was honored to find out that this person still watched my show. I didn't know that they watched it at all. But this person told my mom a story because they just up and disappeared. We had no idea where they went until way later. We found out they ended up going back to California. And the person said I had to finally I just had to leave. And it killed me. It absolutely killed me. It crushed my soul because I loved so much. And I loved everything around it so much. Not for real. It's emotionally. I get it.
Okay.
She just disappeared.
Okay.
And she's thriving. I keep saying we have to have a commercial break, and we do, but sometimes you just hashtag can't stop, won't stop. I haven't seen the Barbie movie. I keep saying that I want to, not with the little girl, because I don't think it's a little girl appropriate because it's rated PG-13. But one of the things that I was talking to Ashley last night. We talked about it a little bit on the show after my sister saw it. And she said, Sandra, the thing is that I don't think that this movie is being fairly seen. When we were little girls and we would play with Barbies, we didn't discredit Ken.
I'm here.
Yeah, or you. We didn't discredit Ken. Barbies were in charge of everything. Barbie was the teacher. She was the astronaut. She's the principal. She was the doctor. She's a veterinarian. She's the homemaker. Barbie was everything. And Ken was there because, you have to have a Ken to have a Barbie, right? But also Barbie's beautiful, strong, and independent. We don't hate Ken, but it wasn't about Ken. It was about a little girl playing with her Barbie dolls. And immediately the right started attacking the movie. Now, I don't know about all the situations in the movie, but I just need you to hear the blanket statement. The right started attacking this movie because we were diminishing men, and women have their role, and da-da-da-da-da, and this is not a healthy version of girl power, and blah, 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 frickin' blah. We're the quickest to say that men and women are not equal, because we're not. We are not equal at all. But in this stupid rat race, we forget that women are in fact different. And as much as we can put on that stiff upper lip and suck it up and play our part where we're supposed to play our part, men forget that we absorb everyone's energies and emotions. And we even try not, I know I do. I know the women that I know, we try not to. God knows I do not want some of this drama from some of these men. But because of who we are, because we are nurturers, we are the person to put the Band-Aid on the boo-boo and kiss it and make it all better, right? Whether it's your little kid, Charlotte got a paper cut right before we went on the air. Whether it's a little tiny boo-boo. Or whether it's the world's falling apart boo-boo, it doesn't matter. We try to fix things for people because that's our role. We're fixers. Men are protectors. Men make sure that the bullets don't come flying at us. But in being protectors, you have to be nurturers too. Because women, even people that we don't like, we want to protect. We want to make things better. Now, there's a couple women that I'm not going to lie to you. I won't spit on them if they're on fire. But my intention is never to hurt them. Just because they feel like they get to go on this rampage and catch everybody else on fire. That doesn't make me retaliating equally right. But when men are dealing with women in these situations, and women have this amazing ability to keep taking it, that doesn't mean that it's okay. We are charged as women to make sure that we take care of men in their fragileness, because men are vulnerable creatures. They are. They really are. They're probably more vulnerable and emotional than we are. But instead of crying, they just get mad, or they shut down. Not that girls don't shut down too, because we have our moments. But this is real talk. One of the things about Texas Fully Loaded and Sandra for Texas and Hearts and Minds Strategies is that we're real. And realness is not weak. There's this infamous book, the shortest verse in the Bible is 2 words: Jesus wept. And pastors like to make a big deal about that. Shows that Jesus was human. Even though he knew that he was fixing to make Lazarus rise from the dead, Jesus was still human. This proves it because he cried. God doesn't cry. It's not true. Because if God did not cry, he would have never sent Jesus. God is love because he put down boundaries. God didn't look at Adam and say, I hate you, after he and Eve played the hot potato game with the apple in the Garden of Eden. God said, there are consequences, but I have not stopped loving you, and there will be a way. And anyone who tries to use shame, anybody who tries to use circumstances to hurt another person, that is not love. Anybody who manipulates. And I've manipulated before. And I'm not proud of it. So I don't manipulate anymore. I'm honest. And I say, here's where we're at. What you do with it is what you do with it. And if I get kicked to the curb, I get kicked to the curb. Here's the truth. And it's not for anybody else to approve or disapprove of. It's between person A and person B. Whether it's in business or personal life, it doesn't matter to me. Men, as you're dealing with women, whether it's in politics, whether it's at church, whether it's in business, at the ball field, it doesn't matter. Remember that we are different. And women, men are different too.
Yes.
And words do hurt. Words do have consequences. Because when people pour their lives into something, it's not just half-hearted at that point. When they give up everything that they have and are because they believe in something, That's not just some freaking escape. It's not some smoke and mirror bullet full honky game that they think that they're playing. Because people believe in this. Our founding fathers literally gave up everything to fight for this country. Jesus told the disciples, if you truly believe in this, walk away from everything. The founding fathers knew every single one of their stories, and it sadly. That didn't mean they didn't love Jesus. That didn't mean anything else. It means they understood what the word sacrifice meant. And I think more people need to truly realize what the word sacrifice means.
Don't say bad words.
Sacrifice isn't a bad word.
It is.
Go get your dictionary.
Gentleman.
We're really going to take a commercial break this time.
Yeah.
Yay. And hopefully Simon said that he sent me something funny. We can try and regroup, but listen here, y'all. If I didn't believe that this message needed to be heard by the people who love us, the people who hate us, and maybe somebody who's indifferent. Maybe this is somebody that just needed to hear this and apply it to their own personal situation. I don't know. But y'all know that when God puts a fire in my words, it's for a reason. God made sure that people couldn't show up on the show for a reason.
Mama.
And maybe you
That's
get dinner on a plastic plate
Mama,
for a reason.
Tell me something.
We're going to take a commercial break for real this time. We're going to come right back. I love you guys. are back, hopefully with a better attitude and a good word from our sponsors. Thank you to the Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget the first and the third Monday of every month. That's this coming up Monday. Be at Citizens Grill in Conroe, Texas. The meeting does start at 6:30, so be there. And yeah, hug some necks, do what you need to do, get something yummy to drink. Drink one for me. Do what y'all need to do. And then, of course, the veterans, Vietnam Veterans of America, their service and sacrifice went far beyond a distant shore. They still continue to serve this nation, whether it is through veteran programs, whether it is through community service. You fill in the blank. They are tireless warriors. So when you see a Vietnam Veteran of America, make sure that you tell them welcome home. They really need it. Buy a raffle ticket from them, get a poppy, do what you need to do to show them that they're appreciated and that they're loved, because they know what it feels like to get kicked down, and they did get back up again. So make sure that you give them some extra love. Don't forget that the Baytown chapter is going to be hosting the statewide convention at the end of October. It'll be in Baytown, so we'll have more information on that as we have it available to us. If you're sick and tired of big box shopping, make sure you go to mammothnation.com/#WeThePeopleWork and make sure that you put that in. You're going to get a discount on signing up, and then you're going to get a discount on shopping. Heck yeah, that's like a coupon, if you will. Oh, I'm sorry, Simon. I love you. I'm anxious to pull your video on. I may still send you send you a link. I'll let you know in a second. And then don't forget to go to the TFL website, TexasFullyLoaded.com. You can give directly to our show by hitting that #WeThePeopleWork button there towards the bottom middle of the page. You can also click on the TFL shop, and not only are you supporting me, but you're also helping my dad's new business. So help out the fam dams. Okay. And then of course, a huge thank you to Supermoms Activated, Jacqueline Tuberoff, for that amazing book. You can go to our website and buy it that way also. And yeah, there's that. Okay. Squirrel video. There's been a couple of fun videos, but I didn't think, I know, no surprise. I didn't think to mail them to myself. I text them to people because I love texting people if anything. Simon, why is this not showing up? I know that I saw on my phone that they popped up. Let me restart my email.
I just not watching me. Why am I fine?
Just a second. We have an Agex problem. I apologize. Excuse me 1 second. Also, a huge thank you to Alexander the Great, because he's my wheel that keeps me, he's my backbone. This kid over here, he literally is the embodiment of sacrificial service. And I love that kid. I tell him that all the time. And I know that he hears it and he appreciates it. But there's moments where he's just like, because he's still a teenager, gosh darn it. But that's one amazing kid over there. We are in back to school mode here at the Witten Casa, just like there are all across the state of Texas. So I'm trying to get my email to restart because I don't know why I didn't get the stuff that was sent. But anyway, Arthur has his back to school meet the teacher night, but we haven't met his teacher yet because she hasn't been there. I hope that she's there today. And Austin, so, for those of you who know, you'll know. But poor Alexander, he was in a car accident last week. He was rear-ended. It wasn't anything he did. And then, so not even a full week later, I love you, Simon. We all need to watch this together. Not even a week later, I'm sitting here, I'm on the phone, trying to work on some stuff. We're kind of having a lighthearted moment while I'm on the phone with some friends. And I see on my watch pop up, my bus was just in an accident. And I was like, my watch just told me it didn't look like I'd been in an accident. and I almost have a heart attack. My heart just about drops. And so Alex calls before I could, because we're sitting right next to each other. I'm on this call as this pops up in the family chat at the same time for both of us. And so I'm trying to get off of this, or I'm hanging up on this call. Alex has already got him on the phone, and I hear him laughing. And so I'm like, okay, it's clearly not tragic. We're good. Deep breath. And he's like, and Alex is like, come on, tell us that you're messing with us. He's like, dude, I guess I watched the whole thing happen. I was like, man, we're going to end up hitting this car. And sure enough, we hit the car. So he's like, you know how like buses are supposed to turn a little bit wide? And this one didn't. It turned a little too short. And so anyway, I ended up hitting the car. There was no injuries at all. In fact, the other car wasn't even there when I got there. Now, I did drive like a crazy mom who just, got a phone call saying that her son's bus was in an accident. It never left the school property. Everybody was fine. It was literally just a little ding. Nobody was fast. Everyone was fine and safe. But I still had that moment yesterday. And so when Mady and I were on the phone coordinating on what was happening next, amen. I love you, Ken. When we're trying to coordinate on, what was going to happen next, I told him, I said, do you realize that Austin is physically going to be driving with a permit, learner's permit, next month? Like he has the ability next month to have his learner's permit. And I said, and right now I'm not appreciating this track record of both of our sons having car accidents within a week of each other. Like, I don't think my mom heart can handle this stuff. And he's like, right. It's like, Dad's heart wasn't great either. But anyway, so everything was fine, but it was just like, sometimes God makes you step back and smell the roses, even when you just think you're supposed to plow through the garden. And I feel like that's kind of one of the things that he's reminding me. I told somebody earlier this week, I said, I'm realizing that there's a statement that gets said sometimes, and it's, you see the meme on Facebook all the time, but like, tomorrow, if you die, your boss or your job will have your job posted within a week. And I'm like, I need to remember that. Now, there are divine appointments. There are divine reasons that you're doing things. And sometimes we may not know what that reason is, even until we may never know what that reason is, right? It might be for our children to find out one day, or our grandchildren. And they're like, oh my gosh, Granny made a difference. You know what I mean? I do firmly believe that those are real statements, that those are real things. But in the same breath, it's that hyphen in between the two dates on your tombstone that is what matters. And I have to sometimes remind myself of that. And like I said, y'all can't see it, but Charlotte's little phone is over there. I think and then this is the one that she gives me. And sometimes I have to remember I got to stop. I need to stop for just a second. This is my only little girl. This is the only time I'm going to get for her to be little. And I have been on my go her whole life. And so I have to sometimes stop and smell the roses. So if I don't talk to anybody this afternoon about anything to do with politics or contracts or anything else, I'm going to be playing on a Barbie phone. That's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. That just is what it is. Now, Simon is the greatest, as you guys know. And even though he and Miss Patty like to make fun of me in my raccoon session, he lets me anyway. I didn't watch this. I promised I didn't watch it, Simon. Y'all ready?
Fire hydrant's gonna get you.
That's what I'm screaming. I'm ready to go. I'll fight tonight. I don't even care. I cried. I'm good. I got my second win. Get him, baby raccoon. Alexander, he was in a car accident. Oh, I heard like there's a delay apparently because I just heard myself talking from like 3 minutes ago. That's fine. Anyway, as you guys know, we have puppies now. Puppies are doing better. Cookie is doing, well, I said better. They're getting, they're doing their puppy thing. They're getting stronger. Cookie is she finally got out of bed yesterday. I guess, yeah, I think she finally got out yesterday afternoon. She started kind of coming out a little bit. She's really quick to, as soon as she gets out of sight, though, as she hears a squeak, she comes running back. And so the funniest thing ever last night, we're having dinner and she finally realized that she needed to go outside. Like, and so we're like, yes, because I guess apparently at one point she did finally get up, and probably the first time she'd used the bathroom since she had the puppies was in the baby's bedroom. So that was exciting. So Alex got that all cleaned up, and he's like, wow, that was like a lake. But new moms get it. New moms get it. So anyway, so she finally got up and she went to the back door. So we're like, yes. So she goes outside because we needed to change everything. So she goes outside and all of the big people, Manny and the big boys and I, were like rushing to. Manny and I handled the puppies. We put them in a little box and made sure they were safe. And we're changing out everything. We're throwing away the yucky stuff and blah blah blah. And you could like. We've got Arthur and Charlotte is like lookout for Cookie, and we were rapid response, y'all. We got everything changed, and the puppies, puppies back in their little whelping pool, and Cookie comes, just charging right, make a beeline straight for the puppy pen, and anyway, so we all had a good laugh about that. Well, then she hasn't snapped at anybody, but if she has gone like. You know what I mean? Like where she's just like, what are you doing? But she's not even making any noises. It's just been like if people come at the pen too fast, or like if the kids have been playing or whatever, she hasn't made any faces, but she's been like, like, right. Just like new moms do. So anyway, so then after we were having ribs. And so she'd get out of her pen. She'd come over, she'd do a loop around the table to see if anybody was done with a rib. And then she'd go back. And so we're all getting a really good kick out of it. It was absolutely hysterical. And then Manny goes, hey, Austin. Well, we call him Bug. He goes, hey, Bug, why don't you run over there and see what happens? And because Manny is an instigator and Austin loves the challenge, he did. So Manny's handing Cookie a rib, and all of a sudden Austin just runs down the hallway. That's right. So then Austin runs down the hallway to just towards. He just runs towards down the hallway. He doesn't even turn. He runs down the hallway, and I have never seen Cookie be so. I don't know a nice way to say it. So tail over elbows to run and fall over herself. In her entire almost 5 years on this planet. It was absolutely hysterical. And so like she was a good sport about it too. Like she wasn't getting upset or anything, but it was pretty hysterical and comical to see this go back and forth. Now she did run after Manny when he did that though. So he runs down the hallway, but he makes the turn like he's going to the pen, and then he jumped on the couch and she just went zoom right behind him and then stood there like, couch, you say. It was funny. You know how like you can talk to animals. I talked about this in the show yesterday. We're going backwards in time, I feel. You know how you can just kind of talk with animals and you just feel like you know what they're saying and doing, and that was definitely being lived in that moment yesterday when poor Cookie just didn't know what to do with herself. But anyway, all is well. The little puppies are growing in their cutenesses, and she's eating and drinking, so everything is well in the puppy world. The puppy realm, the puppy world at Farm Day Witten. Farm Day Witten. Yeah, everything is well. Now, we did try and let Brody in the house yesterday. Not really let him in the house. He came barreling through the door, let him in the house. And so we grabbed him because I was like, hey, let's see how this is going to play out. We all had a feeling how it was going to play out, and that's exactly how it played out. She didn't growl, but she definitely was like, if you don't get away from me, get away from these puppies. I'll rip you apart. Like she hasn't looked at anybody else like I'll rip you apart. But she did look at Brody that way. So there's that. So I think Brody's going to be living outside for a little while. Simon, that reminds me. Now, Simon, you did your rain dance. I saw that you did your rain dance yesterday. I want America to see Simon's rain dance. Hold on just a minute. America, we've showed Simon's rain dance before, but because we've had such a drought again, Simon is a true team player. He's a true team, not just for Texas Full. Simon is the real McCoy team player. Okay. Whether it's for Team Lytle, small businesses, TFL, or rain. So you guys take a look at this for just a second.
Hello, everybody. After many, many requests, I finally decided to give you what you wanted. I will be doing a rain dance. Hello, everybody. After many.
No, so this is like 15 hours ago, as you saw. Okay, no, it was in fact amazing. So after I picked up Austin, we ran to the store really quick. We picked up a couple things for dinner and lunches and stuff that we ran out of, and we're coming down Mines Road, and all of a sudden Austin goes, "Is it going to rain?" And I said, "What?" Because I wasn't really paying attention. Like, I have a million things going through my head. I'm trying to decompress so that after I got home, I put it all away, right? And so I looked up and I was like, no kidding. So he pulls it up, and on the radar, it says 50% chance of rain. And we were like, what? Now, in true Laredo style, though, the clouds go, which is what they always do. So it was like rain all around us. I do believe a couple sprinkles happened in Laredo. I think I saw Mimi posted that it worked. And I know that there is some, we got caught in some West Texas rain the other day. So it's working, Simon. It's working. And I know that you can't necessarily direct it, but maybe when you do your hayah at the end, like if you did it in all 4 directions, maybe even all 8 when you add like the northeast, all that kind of, like, if you did it directionally at the end, like, I feel like that might help. I don't know. You're the one with the magic. I'm just trying to add content to your magic. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do is add content to your magic. So yeah, so there's that. Where are we? We're at 11:33. Okay. Now, yesterday I pulled this up. I didn't really get to look at it, and I'll be honest, I didn't really look at it this morning either. But I feel like it's a point for discussion. So we'll have a half-hearted we'll have a discussion on it. And it's one of those water cooler discussions where we have some information, but not, yeah. You know what, Simon? It might be time to send you home. I'm sitting here. He's like, and now she's really gonna, like, before it was just emotional. Now she's going downhill. Just kidding. There you are. So here's the water cooler discussion. Okay. So I saw yesterday that the Ukraine, are you ready for this? The Ukraine is now in negotiations with NATO to give up some of their land so that they can become a member of NATO. I'm not crazy. Like, I saw this. And I was like, wait, what? And this is, I mean, yeah, like, this is a real conversation that's happening. Ukraine to give up territory for NATO membership. I have questions, and I feel like I don't have answers right now. Simon, I just threw you onto the stage because that's what I do. You know, you've been around long enough. Is this like the power of Christ compels you moment? What's happening here?
Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Sandra, I had to come here and save you from yourself.
Oh, God. It was that bad, huh?
Well, we want to see Sandra, not Sadra, of course.
So
But
day
I didn't
before
mean to cut off
yesterday.
your Ukraine.
No, it's okay. So day before yesterday, you'll laugh at this and appreciate it. So you guys know I have this brand new random allergy to rice, and I say it's brand new because it's not even a year old yet, and it really is a disruptor in your life. Being allergic to rice.
Yes.
So Alex, though, my sweet, handsome, oldest child, thinks it's hysterical. And so we have Chipotle. Okay. Now I had an allergic reaction because I ordered something and I specifically ordered it because there's no rice in it, but because this person's butthole, I guess, and just had that, you know, they had something to prove behind the counter. They used, I don't know, somehow rice ended up in my taco, whatever. It happened. So I was already like, if you're somebody who has allergies and you're hypersensitive to something, then you're still you get extra hypersensitive after you've recovered, right? So I broke out in the hives. I did the whole thing. I didn't feel good, blah, blah. Well, though, the next several days, you're still hypersensitive to the rice. So we go into Chipotle, and the closer I'm getting to the counter, the more I'm kind of like doing one of these numbers, right? Now, nothing happened. I didn't get, no hives popped up or anything, but you just, you know, it's either a hypersensitivity
No
or it's just,
EpiPen or anything like that.
No, I can still breathe, so we're still good. Although this
Okay.
last time I was like, there feels a little tight, but we were fine. Nothing bad. Just
So
took
it's
some
amazing,
Benadryl
Miss
and everything's
Patty.
better. Yes. So Alex, because he's the real hero here, he sees me either being over hyperactive and whatever, or mom's really itching. It doesn't matter. We're gonna push this and see how far the envelope goes. So we're in the car, and the stuff without rice is in its own bag, right? Because, you know, we know how food allergy works in our home. And all of a sudden, he's being funny because I said something, and he just looks at me and goes, oh, okay. And he picks up the bag with the rice in it, and he just goes like this to like put the rice steam over my direction. So then later, he gets his burrito. And I said something else, which I thought was hysterically funny, but apparently he didn't. And he's pretend this is a burrito with rice in it. And he's like, back. And so like, he's all like threatening me with rice. He's like, the power of Christ compels you. And he's like throwing rice towards
Is it the power of Christ or the power of rice?
The power of rice. The power of rice compels you.
Yeah, I remember that in Deuteronomy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What makes it even funnier is like Austin and I love like those ghost adventure shows and stuff like that. So like we're all the time like, we haven't done it in a while, but whenever Austin and I have like a good like, hey, let's watch one of these, like we'll kind of snuggle up and like turn the lights off and watch all those ghost adventure ones or like haunted things in museums. And that's my guilty pleasure.
That's most people's. I don't like those ghosts or scary things. I've never really been a fan. I mean, Tales from the Crypt when I was a kid, but that's about it.
Tales from the Crypt. And did you ever read the Goosebump books?
Of course. Well, I wasn't a reader when I was a kid. I'm a reader now, but I wasn't a reader when I was a kid. But I did if I could because it was the cool thing to do because when we were kids, reading was cool.
I hated reading. I still hate reading as a grown-up, but I did read the Goosebump books and the Babysitter's Club. There may have been something
I was more
else.
fan of the Goosebumps show.
Mom, what else did I used to read? I think that was kind of it. Very limited. Because I'm like, Now, funny enough, I did read all the Twilight books. I did read all the Hunger Game books. I did read all the...
All the Hunger Game books?
Well, yeah, wasn't there like 3?
Well,
4?
there's one that just came out.
Oh,
yeah.
what? I didn't know that.
It hasn't been that long.
That makes me feel better. I don't do things for myself anymore. I don't know if anybody's caught on to that. That's
Oh,
like,
we've all
this
caught
is-
on to that, Sandra. That's why I'm here to tell you you are important to all of us, all your fans out there that come in and watch. Everybody,
no, stop.
yay,
I don't need a me
Sandra.
award. I don't need. I'm not Brian Christ. I don't need a me award.
No, I'm giving you this award. Let me find something.
Thank you, Mother.
I gotta
She
have
keeps it real.
something in here.
I was
We'll
in fact
keep
an
the,
adult with 2 children.
There you go. The candy,
The
the
pistachio awards?
peanut award. The
Oh,
peanut award. There you go. Congratulations, Sandra. Okay,
like to
now we need a little
accept this
speech.
award. I'd like to accept this award. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. This show is therapy
Yes,
for
even
me.
on bad hair days, she is
Even
very
on-
important.
I tell people all the time, I think that God told Ken that Sandra needs to talk, and that's Sandra's therapy. And so he said, here, she needs this show. And I was like, I tell people all the time, this is the love child I didn't know that I needed. And it is, in fact, the love child I didn't know that I needed. Who's Ken? Mr. Ken to you, madam. It's the owner of the network, remember? He's the one who thinks that you got an award from Mr. Ken too. You got it's in there, I think. It's up where you can't reach it and ruin it. That's where it's at. So I'm not telling you where it is because you'll try and find it. Yes, give me the Golden Banana Award.
There you go,
So
golden
there-
banana. We'll have to get you one.
There's the little Go-Gurts that the kids get, and on there have like these little factoids and whatever. And yes, ask Alex to get you one, please. And on there, one of them is, did you know that half of your DNA matches that of a banana? Yeah, random. And to which I responded, yeah. But I always call Charlotte, because Charlotte is Charlotte Diana Banana. And for the longest time, she'd say, I'm not a banana. And it was absolutely hysterical. Because it is. And then I have random allergies. So my other random allergy is bananas. So I read this out loud, and Alex goes, oh, so half of your body hates you. Is that what the problem is?
Well, that's
Half
logical.
of my DNA hates me, apparently. I do love you, Ken. Ken provided
But
my
it
affordable
is
therapy.
logical. Yes.
Yeah?
I mean, it's like that whole, was it cucumbers are 90% water, so if I stand there, 90% walked on water? Exactly. Almost there.
Almost there.
Not a lot of people know this, but I actually have a religious name. Very
Yes.
religious.
What is it? Is it Guru?
My middle name is actually Peter.
Is it? So you're Simon Peter.
Simon Peter.
That explains
And he
why
was
you're
the only other
everyone's rock.
man in the he's the only other man in the Bible that walked on water.
Yes. Well, I was gonna say he's technically the
Yeah.
only man, but Christ was still a man at that time. I mean, he was still
Of
Christ.
course, he was
I
a
mean, still
man.
God, but
He walked on water, and
Yeah.
he gave Peter the power to walk on water,
he did.
as long as
It
he
wasn't-
believed.
But
And when he
Simon
got
Peter is
questioned
also
and got
who
scared,
Jesus
he sank.
called the rock,
Of
the original rock.
course,
And Simon is-
absolutely.
Simon is absolutely the rock of everything that he touches.
Oh, thank
You
you so much. I will give myself an award for that. All right,
You should give yourself the peanut award now.
exactly. Yay, Simon.
Charlotte's
But
sick
I
of our
missed
love
part of the
fest
show
over
because I
here.
had a few customers. What was that?
I said Charlotte's sick of our love fest because we were like being complimentary to each other, and then she goes, "What?" So So then I said, she's sick of our love fest over here. And again, she goes, "Bleh," but then she goes,
That's hilarious.
you know, this the world's going to need to watch out when that one gets bigger because I can't help you. She's going to.
She is a wild one. That is very scary, especially since you had us all crying this morning.
She's good at that too. Golly.
Mm-hmm.
No one?
Are you blinking twice?
What does that?
Y'all hear her over there. She said, "What'd you say?" But she like gave a look like, say it twice.
Yes.
Y'all, I am legitimately afraid for my life when she gets done with that banana.
You should be. You better pray. Let's pray right now.
Let's pray. Let's pray.
Okay.
She's trying to kill me. Did you see that?
With a banana.
With the banana. No,
It was Charlotte.
It was
It
Charlotte,
was Charlotte in the recording
office.
room with the banana.
With the banana. I dropped your alligator. Sorry, princess. Anyway, so Simon, we have a lot. Next week, there's I don't know what's going on next week. I know that there's the Tea Party next week. I know that there's the East Montgomery County town hall about the stuff that's been happening on the border and the stuff that's happening up in Plum Grove. Well, yes. And so I know that that's coming up. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. The CDF is happening on Tuesday. So there's quite a bit that's happening up there in the Houston neck of the woods. So if you're in the area, I hope people can go to that stuff. It's good for you.
If I can get into the area, I just gotta find time to get away. I need a vacation. I am so tired right now.
You look like you could fall asleep at any second now.
Oh, of
Are
course.
you really
I
asleep
look like
with your
that
eyes
all the time. That's what small business owners do.
It is what small business. We don't sleep.
It's a trick. No, you sleep with your eyes open. I could be asleep right now.
You're an insurance provider, so I won't tell you that sometimes I wake up and I'm at my destination.
That's hilarious. You should be do that with your passengers. When you have a passenger with you, just be driving real quiet and tell them, "Wow, I just had the weirdest dream." Right in the middle of the drive.
Now that's funny stuff. I don't care who you are. Thank you. She's a little minion over there, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Banana.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
let's talk about Ukraine for 1 second. What the banana peels literally? Thank you, Charlotte. What's going on with Ukraine, Simon? You know everything.
I don't know everything. I just know that, I mean, I called it the first day when they were attacked. I said, you know what? Ukraine is the bad guy. I actually put it on Facebook, I think.
They are.
Yeah, I knew it right away. As soon as they said Russia attacked Ukraine, I said, well, that was really unprovoked. Just kind of came out of nowhere. You know what? They have to do something wrong because countries don't just attack countries for no reason.
Nope. And
that's insane.
Everyone tried to say that Russia, even still, like the number of Republicans that are still wearing their little blue and yellow ribbons, and I'm like, I took a page from Alex and Austin on this. Not that I didn't already have that feeling, but and I've said it on the show before. When the boys will pray when we do family prayer time, that usually Alex prays for the people of Russia and Ukraine. Because the people are stuck in the middle. They don't care. They don't want any of this crap. This is all political theater. And the fastest way for countries to make money is to have a war.
Oh yeah, also for population control. Like I know people don't want to believe that, but that's what they do. Look at China. I mean, when they need a population control, they'll limit how many kids you have, and people don't understand what that means. That doesn't mean contraceptive. That means if you have too many kids, they take them from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary. People don't want to believe it because it's so much easier to live in their own bubble than to think that these things would actually happen. I think that that's the biggest thing, and it's scary for those of us who look around. And I'm not even saying like you don't even have to be a Trumper, and like I'm listening to Democrats saying the same thing, going, "Hey, is nobody else seeing this huge red flag over here? Like, maybe we should be paying attention to this." Look at RFK Jr.
Yeah. Who?
RFK Jr.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, prediction time. My mom made a prediction.
Oh, let's hear it.
Trump, Kennedy as the VP for Trump. That would bridge the gap, and that would guarantee a win.
The real thing that they need to do is that we need somebody. See, the best thing I think that could have ever happened is if neither one of them would have ran under a party.
Yeah, I mean, is he Robert Kennedy? Is he a Democrat or is he an independent? I mean, Trump's an independent.
He's about as much of a Democrat as Trump is a Republican.
Okay, so he's an independent too. Oh.
Mhm.
Well, that makes sense. It also makes them. Who is that? There's a mask on, and I can't tell.
There's a masked little girl.
Oh my goodness,
What'd you say?
that mask is huge.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't know me, so
Someone help.
Oh, she's got to show you guys her new phone.
I'm pretty sure
You
that
know-
I saw her when she was a baby when you were here in Addisco. So was that her?
Yeah.
Like 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
when she was just a baby.
What did you say?
Oh, that's
you
the
remember
phone.
singing you when you were a little baby. Yeah, that's the phone that she calls me from. I was on my phone yesterday or the day before, and she comes running in. She goes, "Mom, what's your number? How do I call you?" So I gave her my phone number, and then she punched it into the phone, and she goes, "Ring, ring, ring, ring."
Oh, that's
Oh, you
hilarious.
have to
That's
pick
awesome.
up.
Well, she can call me over here. Where's the phone? It's yes. Okay. Hello.
You have a
He
too.
did. Why'd you hang up on him though?
But that was you need to work on your phone etiquette a little bit. You should.
So, Mr. Simon said you need to work on your phone etiquette. You shouldn't just hang up on people.
I was about to say something important.
I wish you guys could have seen how big her eyes got through that mask. She got so excited when she said that you had one too.
Hang on one second. Hello.
You said hello.
Hi.
Hold on. Let's be back. Here, answer it on this. Answer it on this here. Okay, say ring ring. Put it in the other ear.
Ring.
Hello.
Hello. What you doing?
Are you taking good care of your mom?
Yes.
Okay, good. Awesome. Where'd you get that mask from?
The highway.
He said, "Where did you get
From
it?"
where?
Wow.
I don't know.
Did mommy get it from New Orleans? Okay. Tell Mr. Simon you'll talk to him later.
Okay. Bye. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick phone call.
Yeah, well, it happens. You know, we're all business people around here. Hey, Charlotte,
Exactly.
what you doing here?
Exactly.
I did not. This me.
Oh, that was you. Oh, it was her. It was her the whole time.
It was
Uh,
her the whole time. Wow.
Sesame.
Why, hi, NASA Naga TV in Indiana. We are in South Texas, so welcome. Hi, how you doing? We're taking calls on our live on our live line over here. So she's taking donation calls. This is now a TV drive. What is it?
Exactly. And or just $5 a day.
Just for $5 a day. You too could help. No, 5. We want 5, not 4. 5.
Yeah, 5, the magic number.
We need 5 because Charlotte's turning 5. Yes.
Ooh, 5 years old. The terrible 5s.
Yeah, but not until when you turn 5. Do you remember? When's your birthday? November 7th.
November 7th.
Camper.
And Bobby Pop.
Wait. November 7th.
And voted
Yeah.
for myself.
Oh man, that's horrible.
It's certainly in the middle of election season. It's not very done.
Is it voting on November 6th?
Yeah, usually it's like right within a couple of days of her birthday. So 3 out of my 4 kids feel the wrath of elections, but 2 feel it the most. Charlotte and Alex feel it the most. Alex is October 20th and Charlotte's November 7th.
So does she get to vote when she turns 18, or is it gonna fall right after?
So I think it's right after she turns 18.
No, I'm not gonna.
Because it's always the first Tuesday. So if the Tuesday fell on the first, or if the first fell on Tuesday, it would still be a week before she turned 18.
My birthday was 2 weeks after election on an election year. So I didn't actually get to vote until I was no, I didn't get to vote. I was old enough.
Until later.
I had to wait until I was 22 to vote for the first time. Like, wow, I can't believe this.
It was, yep. And Alex, because I was so busy running all over the place, he didn't even get registered for this 2022 cycle. But now he's, I told y'all the story now. He's got his registration card now, so he's good to go for 24.
Absolutely. Are we out of time?
We are. Oh, yeah, I guess we are. Tomorrow's Total Defense Friday, though, so y'all make sure that you're ready for that. I'm sure we'll have Miss Helena on, and maybe the general will get to pop in and say hello. Maybe we'll have some J6ers with us. I don't know. My week has been crazy, so I haven't had a chance to talk.
And I will finish this with a verse, because this one came up to me. 3 John, chapter 1, verse 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth.
Amen. Guys, doesn't matter if it's good.
Thank you, Sandra, for having me.
Love you, Simon.
All right.
Doesn't matter if it's good or bad.
Bye.
God is always in control, and we trust that. We love you here from Texas Fully Loaded. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.
Bye.